Major Mohammed Shah, you were here with us live from the morning, talking us through really the big takeaways, the significance of what PM Modi had to say, talking about these very, very rare pictures which we, had put out. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Kargil Connect. It's not something which had started suddenly for the shutterbucks, Prime Minister Modi has earlier, even as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, had made several visits to Kargil, talking to the soldiers, even in the middle of the Kargil war when reportedly shelling was underway. He went to the border, the area where all the action was, and tried to speak to the soldiers, visiting them in hospitals as well. Certainly a gesture which he has continued even after becoming the Prime Minister of the country, which is very, very clearly seen by his visit on Diwali, celebrating Diwali with the soldiers there in Kargil.
You are bang on there, you said it right, and it's not just for the shutterbugs. Well, firstly, it is not for the shutterbugs. Let it make it very clear to everyone in the entire world. And secondly, I would say, even for those people who say, oh, it's for the shutterbugs, let me give them an answer by saying that, okay, it is not for the shutterbugs. Even if a person does it for shutterbugs, so what? As long as it's symbolic, as long as it is ceremonial, as long as people get motivated by it, the motive is achieved. For example, if there is a person cleaning a beach and you say it's a Photoshop, it's only for a photo shoot. Well, you can't expect a person of the stature to clean a beach. It is for a photo shoot, fine. As long as it is inculcating, it is helping people out to actually come ahead and clean a beach. It is symbolic, fine. Now, since it's not symbolic over here only, it is there. Yes, the picture we saw, anyone who has been to Kargil would know there's a Kargil War Memorial over there, Meenakshi. And over there, there's a very famous picture, very amusing and very interesting picture where there's a missile photograph and it has been signed by Raveena Tandon, the actress, where she's written, "To Nawaz Sharif with love from Raveena Tandon." And it's a missile photograph. So that missile actually went into Pakistan. Now there is a letter which a senior of mine from the army, he wrote to his family in the year 1999, who did not return back. Unfortunately, he was killed in action. He was martyred. Captain Vijayan Thapar, who was awarded a Veer Chakra posthumously for his bravery. His family, Colonel Vijayan Thapar's son, his family went and received the Gantry Award. He wrote these words. Look at the emotion of this Meenakshi. He wrote, "My loving Papa, Mummy, Granny and Bertie. By the time this letter reaches you all, I would be observing you all from the skies, enjoying the hospitality of Apsaras. I have no regrets. In fact, if I were to be born again as a human, I would choose to join the army and serve my country. Whichever organ needs to be taken should be taken and donated. Please donate some money to the orphanage and continue giving ₹50 to Rukhsana every month. I hope the sacrifice of these brave men is remembered and inspires generations to come. I hope a picture of mine is kept in the Alpha Company Mandir next to Karni Mata. I hope." What a letter.
Exactly.
What a letter, what emotions. And when a Prime Minister goes there on ground, he pays respect not just to our martyrs, but to our soldiers, to our brave hearts who are defending the motherland. It's because of my colleagues from the army, and it's because of the brave hearts that people today are able to feel at home.
There's no doubt about that. It's because of these brave hearts that, we are all alive, safe. We are celebrating Diwali at home, while these people are at a difficult terrain away from their family. And not just of him being there, but also of him celebrating, with the most ordinary soldier, with the frontline soldier, not with just top officers. We saw those visuals, heartwarming visuals of him shaking hands with the soldiers. He was standing, with them shoulder to shoulder in a difficult terrain, even held a rifle in his hands, attended that, the band which was singing songs. He was seen clapping, singing, really adding to the entire festive atmosphere there in Diwali. Very, very significant, something which must be underlined, isn't it, Major Shah?
Absolutely, Meenakshi, 100%, and it should be underlined, it should be taken note of, and everyone should appreciate it, in fact. I also appreciate, Meenakshi, your efforts on a festival. You are working for everyone else, for the nation, to come forward and to see the news and to see what's happening in Kargil, to see what our brave hearts are doing in Kargil. It's your voice which is people are listening. So yes, I think even anchors like you who are working selflessly deserve appreciation. And yes, Our Prime Minister certainly, our brave hearts most certainly, there's no doubt about it. And it's something which we all should actually respect, and we should, you can see in the pictures, barren mountains in Kargil, barren rocks. That is so difficult. You know, Meenakshi, I have stayed in jungles for months together guarding our national frontiers. You know, people start having psychological problems when you are actually in that area. But and that is the area where our soldiers, without cribbing, without any complaint, they are serving there selflessly. And you know, when we go for patrols, I would ask my men, I know very well, I would know they have not eaten food. So I was like, Khana khaya? Hum tayar hai? Ji saab. Khana khaya? Ji saab. It would always be a yes for everything. Though I know for a fact, I knew that they have not eaten, they are empty stomach. So I would know, you guys have not eaten, you guys eat. Come on, we'll have food and we will march, we will go ahead after this. We'll go out for an operation after this. So we would carry these shakar paras and namak paras, these dry fruits, for us to carry as a dry ration in case when we feel hungry. That would be our food. And it sounds very, very glamorous. We would eat chocolates or we would eat dry fruits. But let me ask people, try eating that ration for days and months together. You would, it would not digest. You would get bored of it. So it is a very difficult terrain. People would like to go there on a small tour for 2 days, 4 days, 6 days to see where the Indian Army actually positions there and stays, where you don't get leave on time. There's so much stress at the same time. Then they are orders. They are orders that, okay, if there is a ceasefire, we would not do application of ceasefire. We would not fire across. Let the enemy, if they are. But when we get orders, we would, as the Prime Minister said earlier, he said, हम किसी को छेड़ेंगे नहीं, लेकिन किसी ने अगर हमको छेड़ा, तो उसे हम छोड़ेंगे नहीं. So that is what we actually believe in. And yes, most certainly, Meenakshi, when people work there, when people are there, there is a way of life when they are celebrating festivals with their comrades, not with their family, with their wives or loved one or their. सबका दिल करता है. Who does not feel like celebrating festival with their family? Who does not feel like going and celebrating? But no, it is without any complaint, Meenakshi, without any complaint. Such is the good thing of our armed forces. We are all brothers in arms, and this is our first family. So one more thing I learned from a general officer who I served under his command. In his annual leave, he would actually go to the troops, the soldiers' houses, and he would visit them in his own personal leave, incidentally, and that is what the actual leadership is. So I would say that it is a very, very warm, touching gesture which we all as a nation should feel proud of, Meenakshi.
Right. You know, Major Shah, very, very significant visuals coming in. Earlier also had spoken about how Prime Minister Modi met one soldier, in fact, Major Amit, who he had met earlier in 2001 when he was studying in an army school, obviously showing PM Modi's Kargil connect. And these visuals also extremely important, really, isn't it? They highlight how Prime Minister Narendra Modi isn't just doing it for optics. He's really gone ahead and celebrated the Diwali with the soldiers there, from distributing sweets to singing with them, really participating in the celebrations today, isn't it?
Absolutely no doubt about that fact. You know, there's no doubt about he's doing. There's no doubt when people say he's doing for optics. No, it should be. One should ignore it. They do not understand. They do not really see the gravity. In fact, the year 2001, when this officer, Major Amit, when he was a young boy in school, and that time the proper photograph, he motivated him. In fact. So it's a great feeling today as a motivational speaker myself, Meenakshi. When people, few years ago, they tell me we had heard your motivational talk and we joined the army now. And they are officers who have got commission. It's a great feeling. It is a feeling superb, out of this world, Meenakshi. It's like when you affect people's lives, when you touch lives, and many years later on. So yes, Major Amit, I mean, it is really, and I'm sure a lot of people would be inspired by Major Amit's story, that, you know, how he was inspired by then the minister who had come, who's now the Prime Minister. And yes, when you meet after so many years in a difficult terrain and you are safeguarding the national frontiers, I mean, it is a very emotional moment. It is a very touching moment. It has struck a chord with me in a very, very big way, Meenakshi.
Well, you say it struck a chord with you in a very moving and a big way. You have also been associated with the forces. You know, you spoke about your experience there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi celebrating Diwali with soldiers. You know, help us understand what will be the emotions of those soldiers perhaps today, you know, who are being given sweets by Prime Minister, with whom the Prime Minister is seen singing, shaking hands. What does it really mean for a soldier when the, you know, Prime Minister of a country comes to the border, interacts with them, celebrates with them like a family member?
Meenakshi, first I'd like to explain to you, you know, as a soldier, even when an officer, as a young lieutenant, which is the junior most rank of an officer, normally you are a lieutenant at the age of 21, 22. When an officer goes to a cookhouse, goes to a dinner with the soldiers and eats with them, the morale of the troops, just then, that Lieutenant Saab हमारे लंगर में आए थे, Lieutenant Saab ने हमारे साथ खाना खाया, that itself is a very big morale booster to the troops. And as a young lieutenant, I did that. We used to eat in the same thali. So, अरे Lieutenant Shah साहब आके हमारी थाली में खाया, बहुत बड़ी बात है. Now, when the commanding officer comes, it's even a bigger thing. Just imagine, not the general only, but when the Prime Minister of the country comes, and when he is shaking hands, he's shaking a leg, he's feeling sweets. I mean, it is something exceptional. The morale of these people, they are like, they would be thanking the stars. Thank God we didn't go home for Diwali. Thank God we didn't get chuttis. Thank God we didn't get leave, or we didn't apply for leave for that matter. We are here. We are privileged here. We are lucky enough to get to be celebrating Diwali with the supreme leader in a way. I mean, you know, so it is something. Meenakshi, it is something like if you are anchoring and if Karthikeyan comes and you know, you also would feel happy about the whole fact that okay, we have our supreme leader over here with us. So it is a very similar way. A person who works in a company, his CEO, his MD comes, but here the Prime Minister has come. So it is something very, very something to cherish, and the photographs that these men will take right now, it will live. It's a memory for them. It will live. They will live with it forever, and that will be with them till their last day, Meenakshi.
Well, absolutely. Celebrating Diwali, distributing sweets, shaking hands with the soldier, very significant message when it comes, of course, to our soldiers and, of course, to the entire nation. Thank you, Group Captain Shah and Major Shah, for joining us with your views on the broadcast.